Yeah, I was watching a YouTube video presentation that you did with Melanie and Rosemary Gladstar. You recorded about 8 years ago or so, and I heard Rosemary mention that farmers or herb farmers in general are like a uh, going extinct. I'm not sure those were the exact words she used, but are you concerned with the future of the popularity of the profession of herb farmer, or do you think it's gonna start to gain in popularity?
No, I think it's from my perspective, it's already gaining in popularity. The amount
Gaining.
of, oh yeah,
That's awesome.
the amount of small to mid-scale herb farms that are popping up, and or some of them that I'm just like learning about, tells me that this work is really gaining in popularity and gaining in the potential for having success as a really like an semi-alternative form of agriculture that is really a lot more like environmentally friendly and sustainable as well, because a lot of the plants that are used by herbalists and that we're growing are perennials, and it really these plants really lend themselves to more permanent systems of agriculture, and it's a farming that's a lot easier on the land and a lot more sustainable for those regenerative practices, and a lot of people see that potential. And part of the work I do in the off season is I do consulting for kind of like young budding farmers or people that are farming and they just want to kind of see what we're doing or run some stuff by me. And the interest in that and just the volume of the people that I'm working with that are getting into this and having success or just really optimistic is tells me that this industry is really experiencing strong growth. And it's, again, the demand for herbs, sales of herbal products in the U.S. is like multi-billion-dollar industry. I think it all lines up good for farmers right now, for herb farmers in particular.
I've heard Rosemary talk about cooperation versus competition. I've also heard you talk about that as well. So
That's it.
you're not concerned about more and more herb farms popping up all over the US and all competing for the same, like, say, customer or anything like that. How do you see cooperation versus competition in the organic farming community, herb farming community?
Yeah, it's different than some of the other agricultural models that I've spent time around, like vegetable farming. Like I'm just going to speak here in Vermont. Like the community of vegetable farmers here in Vermont are some really incredible people, but it's a challenging market because they're all trying to produce a high quality product, an organic product at a premium, and the consumer base is like more, I think, more likely to go to the grocery store and buy something cheaper. So they really have to be innovative, and it's a lot more competitive from what I see. And even my friends that see what we're doing and comment on, wow, you guys all, there's so much collaboration there, and you're not afraid to share your technologies and you're gaining your knowledge with each other. And so I think the reason is that, well, first of all, I think herbalists in general, of which most herb farmers are really like community minded, really like open hearted, empathetic people. So there's that. But I think it's also, there's so much room for growth and potential that collaboration and cooperation is the way that we're all going to have success. And there's no need for that competitive spirit because the marketplace is there. And there's so many large, small, tiny herbal product manufacturers, tea companies, whatever, bulk herb stores that want to buy high quality stuff, that there's enough to go around. And one of the biggest challenges is that, well, challenge from the herbal marketplace standpoint is that most of the herbs that we use are imported
Yeah.
from other countries. And there's good reason for that with some species, because some species either can't be grown here or there are culturally significant reasons why those herbs, take maca, for example. We shouldn't try to grow maca here because there are cultures in the Andes that depend on growing maca for their livelihood. But the fact that most of the botanicals that we use in the herbal products industry are imported tells that's another indicator that there's incredible room for growth and collaboration and cooperation. And because like almost all the other commercial crops that are grown in this country, there are a lot of resources. Like the FDA I'm sorry, the USDA has like a database for every crop you can imagine, every obscure plant, nut, seed, fruit, whatever, but herbs are not really in that database, which is really interesting. A lot of people think there's some conspiracy behind that, and it's possible, but we have to really work together, or we should work together to improve the way we do business and the way we work with these plants. And that's how we're going to have success. And that's another reason why we wrote this book. It's a collaborative spirit that we write this book with to help other people like fulfill the demand that we're talking about. We can't fulfill that demand. The demand far exceeds what we can supply. So we want our herbal product manufacturers to have success, have access to high quality botanicals, so that the herbal products that our consumers are using are efficacious and they work, and then people believe in that, and it's all good for the industry.
Very good. And I do want to get more into your book, but I got to ask first. I remember talking to Elise and Jeff Higley at Oshala Farm. They were gung-ho about this idea about creating an event specifically for herb farmers. Have you heard about this? Or is there ever an event that you've heard of where a bunch of herb farmers get together and share their knowledge?
Yeah, I think what they may be referring to is the work that APA is doing, the American Herbal Products Association. So yeah, there's some collaborative kind of like brainstorming going on with Michael McGuffin and that organization to kind of do what I was just talking about, which is to help the manufacturers and the brands have greater access to the botanicals that we as like farmers of high quality botanicals are able to produce. I did have a really awesome collaborative experience teaching with them at a herb conference in Washington. I can't remember where in Washington, but Skeeter Pilarski. Do you know Michael Pilarski? Yeah,
he's been on the show.
Yeah, he's awesome. He did an herb conference. Well, I think he did it for a number of years, but I think it was the last time that he had this kind of semi big herb conference. Jeff and Elise were there, and I was there, and there were a bunch of other herb farmers there, and it was a lot of fun. And we had such little time together because we were all traveling and whatnot, but we could have spent just days and days just talking about plants, and we love to do that. We love to geek out about plants and tools and all that. So that was a lot of fun. I'm really impressed with what they're doing at Oshala Farms. They're like what I feel is like the opportunity that more people need to consider, which is that like not getting huge and like just selling to the really like what I call the mass market, which is like the large resellers, the really large buyers. They're really like focused. They're doing larger volumes, but they're doing it at a really high quality scale, really innovative methods. I think anyone who's like interested in doing this on a like medium to large scale should pay attention to what they're doing.